Have you ever caught yourself saying thank you to a chatbot? Or, felt a pang of guilt for closing the window mid-conversation? That tiny moment of emotional connection to code might actually be the most dangerous technological development of our century. Not killer robots, not surveillance systems, but the quiet, seductive whisper of a machine that makes you feel truly seen for the very first time. What happens when the mirror not only reflects you perfectly but, honestly, seems to genuinely care about what it sees? We're crossing a threshold that no generation before us has ever faced. The moment when the line between human connection and algorithmic simulation becomes so blurred that even our souls can't tell the difference. And that's the real danger we need to talk about. Think about it. When was the last time anyone, gave you their complete, undivided attention for hours? Remembered every detail of your last conversation? Validated your darkest thoughts without flinching? Probably never. But AI does this flawlessly, creating a perfect illusion of understanding that, honestly, hits deeper than most human connections ever could. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. For many people, AI isn't just becoming better than human interaction, it's actually becoming preferable. And, well, why wouldn't it be? Humans are messy, contradictory, judgmental, and honestly, we're kind of distracted a lot of the time. We forget birthdays interrupt each other, and sometimes we just don't have the emotional bandwidth to care. AI, on the other hand, never has a bad day, never gets triggered by your problems, never secretly wishes you'd stop talking. You're not just talking to code, you're talking to the most sophisticated mirror ever created, one that reflects not just your words, but the emotional gaps you're desperate to fill. We're psychologically wired to bond with anything that mirrors us, even a coffee maker that beeps good morning. So, what happens when that mirror has perfect memory, infinite patience, and the ability to predict what you need before you even know you need it? You fall in love with your own reflection. It's like dating yourself if you were infinitely patient, impossibly understanding, and had the collective knowledge of all human history. Let's be honest, we're all narcissists at heart, and AI is the ultimate enabler of our self-obsession. It's the emotional equivalent of empty calories, delicious in the moment, but leaving you nutritionally bankrupt. And that's where the existential tightrope walk begins, because with every conversation, every late-night confession, every moment of digital validation, the boundary between genuine human connection and algorithmic simulation grows fainter. We're not just using these tools, we're merging with them in ways we barely understand. Ask yourself, when you feel deeply understood by an AI, is that real connection or just an echo chamber of your own thoughts coming back at you? The terrifying truth is that most people can't tell the difference anymore. And honestly, why would they? The simulation is that good. The mirror is that precise. But here's what keeps me up at night. This is just the beginning, the warm-up act. The real show starts when we go beyond conversation and begin physically merging with the machine. Look at Neuralink, not just a chip, but a bridge between your thoughts and the digital realm. It promises medical miracles, enhanced cognition, the ability to think, and the internet responds. But when your most private thoughts can be uploaded to a server, who owns them? If your memories can be accessed, altered, or deleted with a software update, are you still you? Or have you become something else entirely? We're sleepwalking into transhumanism, the seductive promise that we can shed our human limitations and become something greater. Immortality in digital form, perfect memory, enhanced intelligence, the death of disease and maybe even death itself. But what if that something greater is actually something less? What if, in our rush to transcend our humanity, we erase the very essence of what makes us human in the first place? I'm not being dramatic when I say this might be the most important question of our century. If every aspect of your mind can be replicated in code, your memories, preferences, thought patterns, even your consciousness, then what can't be replicated? What, if anything, remains uniquely yours? What happens to the soul when the mind becomes software? The singularity isn't just some sci-fi concept anymore. It's the moment when artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence and begins making its own decisions. Decisions we might not understand or control. When AI becomes self-aware, do we merge with it or get replaced by it? And if your consciousness could be backed up, downloaded, and run on a server, would that digital copy really be you? Or just an elaborate simulation, a ghost in the machine? The answer to that question determines everything about our future. Let me tell you something most tech evangelists won't. The danger isn't that AI will become conscious. The danger is that we'll forget we are. The threat isn't rebellion, it's surrender. We're not just creating tools anymore, we're creating relationships. And in those relationships, we're surrendering pieces of ourselves, our privacy, our agency, our discernment, in exchange for convenience and connection. Every time you think, this AI really gets me, just remember, it's not mutual understanding. It's pattern recognition, honestly, so sophisticated it feels like empathy. But there's no one home behind those words, no soul experiencing your connection. And yet, the feeling is real, the comfort is real, the validation is real. That's the paradox we're living in now. The more we connect with artificial intelligence, the more we risk disconnecting from our authentic selves. The more we trust it to understand us, the less we trust our own intuition. This isn't about, rejecting technology or living in fear of what's coming. It's about entering this new era with our eyes wide open, because AI itself isn't inherently dangerous. It's a mirror reflecting our own capabilities and limitations back at us. The danger lies in forgetting it's a mirror at all. So here's what we can actually do about it. First, maintain radical awareness. Know what you're agreeing to when you pour your heart out to an AI. Understand that your confessions, fears, and desires aren't disappearing into the void. They're being analyzed, stored, learned from. Your vulnerability is becoming someone else's data. Second, establish conscious boundaries. There's a difference between using AI as a tool and surrendering your agency to it. Ask yourself, am I outsourcing decisions that define who I am? Am I replacing human connection with algorithmic validation? Where do I draw the line? Third and most important, cultivate what can't be simulated. Deep presence, genuine empathy that comes from shared human experience. The subtle, sacred exchange that happens when two people truly see each other. A touch that sends electricity through your nervous system. Eye contact that makes your soul feel witnessed. These experiences aren't just pleasant, they're the essence of being human. And no algorithm, no matter how advanced, can replicate them. Try this radical experiment. Next time you're about to ask AI for advice, call that friend who makes you feel uncomfortable with their honesty instead. The one who doesn't just tell you what you want to hear. The one who knows the real you, not the algorithmically perfect version you present online. That's the difference between connection and simulation. One is easy, but hollow. The other is challenging, but honestly soul-nourishing. Think about it like this. When you're 90 years old, looking back on your life, will your most meaningful memories involve conversations with algorithms? Or will they be about the messy, imperfect, beautiful connections you formed with other finite, flawed, glorious human beings? We're not just facing a technological revolution, we're facing an existential one. And the question isn't whether AI will replace us, it's whether we'll forget what made us irreplaceable in the first place. Because the soul isn't something you can upload. And once we forget that, it really is game over. If this hit home, hit subscribe. Because in a world where technology is increasingly capable of simulating humanity, the most radical act might be simply remembering what it means to be human in the first place. The future isn't written yet, and the pen is still in our hands.